Welcome. I'm Purpose Fulfillment Guide and author Rosin Elena McGrath, and today our topic is how to keep your and children's high vibe strong in a storm. This is part two of our series, and the third Mary in the book that channeled through me of her messages. In the third, Mary reemerges. These are 92 messages for fulfilling your purpose in Earth's evolution. Um, there is a part in the book where is asked questions by others who have read some of her messages that have been channeled so far. And this one had to do with helping children, uh, and of course oneself, deal with the challenges and fears around school violence, violence in their neighborhood, violence in the world. And unfortunately, this has become quite an ongoing challenge at least in our country. So I'm just going to dive right into what she shares to keep your high vibe as well as that of children in your life, to keep those high vibes strong in that storm of potential violence. As with all fear, it's the opportunity to go beyond it or be driven by it. This is not something that we can remove like that because it is still a part of the Earth story. It is a part of the story that will dissolve. It will dissolve, and we are not yet there in your earthly time. That is clear. And so, if I were to speak with a group of parents now about this topic, I would remind them there are so many things they can do, that they are powerful creators in and of themselves, that they are not as helpless as it appears. Can they control everything? No. However, they can influence. And the more that they would ground themselves in the truth of higher reality, not trying to prevent harm, but moving in a particular direction because it feels good, because it's preferential, like, oh, when I move into this territory, as if the world is like that, I experience it more like that. Now, this is not something that can be pretended. It's like attachment. You can't be like, oh, get rid of that attachment so you can have what you want. How oxymoronic. And so this is similar. But the more one moves into that, the more one's energy is supporting that. And the children are greatly influenced by this, not by words, by the energies. You will always be influenced most by the energies, and energies cannot lie. So the more that a parent moves into a sense of deep self-validation, soul self-validation, as opposed to perhaps what they grew up with, the better. Anything they clear from their history will have great impact for their children, as we feel each of you well knows. This is not something we would ever skip over because this is most crucial. And as they work out their own issues, they naturally see, sense, know more of the truth and the gifts of the children. And they are more and more compelled by the safety that is in that which is beyond duality. Now, this is no short answer or process. That is understood. And when one is here in this original place and desires to get there, but there is all this in between terrain, right? And the sense of what I need is I need to know they're safe now, or my child is upset now, and I am doing the best I can. We have a few suggestions. One is very simple. that you call on your angels and you call on your children's angels and you call on the school's angels because it does have them. You call on the angels of everyone involved that you know of and don't know to work together to bring in the highest grace in the evolution that these ones are committed to. They are very committed to this evolution, and their presence alone pushes their parents and others around them. They don't have to try. Their presence alone does this. We would also recommend to speak with one's own children and support bringing forth the space for how they feel, and also the space for how they feel about what they enjoyed, and invite them to bring out more attention and more detail with this. And that will assist the child to be in a more balanced place where there is space for all of who they are and what they experience. From this place, then, the child can be supported. Say, unsafe was the main feeling they described, or anger, or whatever the feeling was. And to ask, oh, what would you really love to get to feel instead of that? If you could snap your fingers, this will not be for all children of all ages, but it will be useful for quite a number of these. And say their response is safety. Let's just both feel what safety feels like and not pretend that the parent do this also. Feel what safety feels like. And we would add here, thinking of examples, things that have felt safe in your experience. And then you might ask, oh, shall we make something together that feels safer? Some children would prefer not to create something with their parent. They like to create their own thing. That is fine to create that, whether it is a story or a little poem or a structure or something to hold or a picture or whatever it is, because creativity, as it is called, that's everything, right? The analytical is creating. Everything is creating. This that is termed creativity in your time and location is simply a portion of what a human creates. This portion that uses the brain in different ways than the analytical or the factual sort. Now, there are also certain practicalities, right? So now, from a space of feeling greater safety, one can then talk in a more calm and balanced way. And of course, a parent will need to be prepared for this. So they may need to do a little research or talk with certain others. If X were to happen, what are some things you could do to be aware? If bullets, if something might be amiss, what might be some clues to back that up? And then now, say you have these clues, and so, okay, you remind yourself, all right, if X happens, here are some possibilities for me. And it can even be practiced, role played, but from a place of strength, from a place of greater peace. So, all of these practicalities, for it is all very practical, but this form of practicality can be brought together with the others for a full response. And so, whether you are a parent yourself or not, you can be part of a wave of support for keeping your high vibe strong in a storm. If you know of parents or teachers or others who work with children who have concerns about dealing with this, you can perhaps find your own words to share this material with them, or if they're open to direct channeling, they can tap in more to the third Mary and the Council of Light. Will put my link in the comments to how you can learn more about the third Mary and the messages she has brought through. And I want to thank you so much for your your determination to keep your high vibe strong in a storm and to support children to do the same. And thank you so much for being here and for being you. Namaste and many blessings, my friends.